During every parlay, our guest will play some Lego with us. Together, all ecosystem players will have co-created this Lego pirate ship. Welcome back, everybody. Today we have Mr. Filippe De Potter from FIT. Thank you for joining us. To start off with, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Thank you, Mitten. I'm Filippe De Potter from Flanders Investment and Trade, a government agency helping companies that are based in Flanders with their developments, their markets around the world, and then secondly also attracting new businesses, foreign businesses, to set up new activities in Flanders. And I'm working with that investment department.
In the growth of a company, which is the most interesting stage for them to reach out to you?
Due to our activities, it's very interesting for us to get in touch with them, to start interacting with them as soon as they start to internationalize, as soon as they start to do business in Europe with our neighboring countries or further away. So we can come in at a very early stage with a company, and we believe it's also very important also for startups and other companies to start to internationalize as soon as possible.
And I agree with you completely. The market size of Belgium is quite small. If you're just with the vision of just being in Belgium, you can't grow the company to the level that a lot of the entrepreneurs wish for it.
Yes.
So the types of companies that you work with is two. One, Belgian companies that want to go international, and the second one, international companies that are looking to grow into Belgium.
Yes.
Now, having helped both of these types of companies, what are the differences in the reasons they succeed or in the reasons that they fail?
It's a lot to do with your first choice of markets. We help a lot of our companies and still our surrounding countries. These are the big markets in Europe. These are the markets with a lot of purchasing power, with a lot of contacts. Although there are some cultural differences, still the access is easy. It's also easier to grow there. You're still in a certain comfort zone. And that's also what we see a little bit with international companies. We always claim Flanders as a gateway to Europe, but it's a gateway to our surrounding countries. It's also, we think it's a trump if we help these companies. If they come to Flanders, we are a small country, you get connected to a lot of people, you get an easy access to, be it contacts with government world, private world, companies. We are very open to deal with international businesses, and so it helps also to reach out then to the other more important European markets. The marketing costs are low here, so you can have an easy access, and then from a place from Flanders grow into the other regions here. And that's what we want to do also with our companies. For instance, dealing with Middle East, bringing them to Dubai, and from Dubai growing them in the Gulf region into other, perhaps sometimes more important markets, and that we are doing a little bit all over the world.
You mentioned about the gateway and looking at the logistics importance of the Flanders region, it becomes an obvious gateway.
For us it's obvious, and for you it's obvious, I'm glad to hear, but for international investors sometimes we really need to explain the basics again, explain also the fundamentals of doing business in Europe, and to convince them about a certain number of trumps we are having in Europe.
Now, from the perspective of a company from Flanders that wants to grow international, what are some of the key 3 or 4 things that you say, look, a lot of companies have failed because of these reasons, make sure you don't do them again?
What we see a lot, we organize a lot of missions, we bring a lot of people around the world, and we see people, they go once, they interact, they have a good feeling, they think everything will go as it goes. They need to understand it's long term. It should be a long term relation that you're building. It's not a one shot, you're not entering a new market, going there, having a couple of good contacts. You need to follow it up, and you need to invest time time into it and to build it to a long-term relation. I think this is extremely important, and we see a lot of companies sometimes jumping too quickly to other markets every time. That's a very important element, I think.
So the role that Fit plays in that, I always imagined you're more of a door opener rather than someone who can then help continue with the relationship. Is that correct, or am I wrong there?
We try to be a long-term partner, especially also in the investment part. We are a very long-term partner. We always say to companies, you come here and you will find a government, you will find an agency that will be at your side during your whole project, during the different steps your company will take, but also long-term, because today you're coming perhaps with a European sales and marketing office. You will be servicing or selling into Europe from your office in Flanders, but next stage might be that you're adding some distribution activities to it. At a longer stage, maybe you do some small production here, you will do perhaps some R&D, and we want to be along the side of that company during the life cycle.
So you don't see it as one company having one project, it's one company having lots of multiple projects happening throughout its life cycle.
Yes.
So Philip, one of the things with Fit is you're traveling extremely, and you were telling me just before the holidays all of the continents that you have visited. But in addition to the traveling, the culture, meeting so many people, what is it that excites you about being in this innovative landscape?
It's the innovative landscape, the whole business environment where we are. It keeps us sharp, it keeps us also very dynamic. The interaction with young entrepreneurs such as yourself or others, it keeps us at the edge. It keeps us also competitive towards other regions, and we also want to invest to learn from it, to be part of it, and to help them. And it gives a great satisfaction to see that companies are succeeding, that they are growing, that they are developing around the world, or that they are coming and to invest here and give new opportunities to employees, to people from our region, and that keeps us with a very good drive and gives us a lot of return on what we are doing.
But Philip, you're so closely involved with the companies that you're working with, right? I'm just assuming now, for every 5 companies that are looking to enter into Flanders region, maybe 2 or 3 do, and some then don't in the end. So when you've been involved with that company for such a long time, and it comes out that the contract is not signed, that they don't enter, how do you deal with that?
We are convinced we are a good location, but there are other locations that are also very good. And although we are big world, but you see a lot of people, you see them back at a certain stage, is it with that company or with another. Companies are also having a constant evolution, so you will most probably see somebody back in another professional life or in another new project of that company. So we try to keep and go for a coffee if they're in the Netherlands, take a cup of coffee with them, see how it goes, and also learn from it. Learn from it why they didn't. There are sometimes good reasons, there are sometimes bad reasons, we think, but at least we learn from it, and we can use this information to better position ourselves, to better help the companies in the future.
So I mean, it's very much the human connection stays, and whether the contract is signed or not, the connection is always going to be there.
The connection is going to be there, and we will also always be willing to help them or to solve some issue. If they would have something in Belgium, in Flanders, then we'll also be at their side.
So from the human connection to the Lego connection.